Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Daniel. We are nearly halfway through summer. Can you believe it? I guess this is the time to show you the updates, the highlights of my collection. Instead of just showing you here's a new leaf, there is something happening, here's something happening, oh my god, this happened. I will show you the updates and of course most importantly, what I've learned from growing these plants. Because some of them are actually quite tricky, I cope with it, I try to find a solution, and I guess it is a better way to show you the August or summer updates. The first update is about alocasia. This is an alocasia frydek, and I believe that it is not the true name of this one. I forgot about what that one is. I'll pop it on the screen for you. You may say like, oh, this plant looks fine now. What's the point? What's like the highlight? What's the update? What's happened to it? Because in winter, this plant, alocasia, can easily go in dormant, which means that they will not grow, they will stop growing, and then they will even die back to just a stump. This happened to nearly all of my alocasia. First is this alocasia frydek. Second is this alocasia nobilis. And the third one is this alocasia jacqueline. They all die back to a stump or die back to a little bulb, but don't be scary because you can see, for example, this alocasia jacqueline. You can see these two lovely little tiny leaves with new roots. And this one I actually bought it online, and then I can show you a picture of it, what it looked like before. Actually, I was so happy to receive this plant because this is actually one of my wishlist plants, and before this get a little bit more affordable, I even thought about to import this from other countries. And I think it is crazy to looking back thinking about importing this plant. I was really excited to receive this plant, but I'm not too sure how to take care of it because it comes bare root, and I looked at the pictures online, it was in lacquer before, so I decided to put it in moss instead because I don't have any lacquer. I'm not really good at taking care of plants in moss, especially outside any propagation box or outside the cabinet, so not surprised. This plant died, the leaves was dying. I was panicking because this plant was not cheap. I decided to put it back to just water, let it regrow, and then this happened, grow back to life. Same for my alocasia frydek and my alocasia nobilis. They all died back to a stump, losing the last leaf. I was panicking for these two, but luckily they all grow back to life. Maybe later I will do a report because they are both in soil, and I know that once again they can be grown in water, and I can't wait for it because it is less thing to worry about. So the first lesson is, you don't have to panic, you don't have to get scared, you don't have to be worried if your alocasia die back to just a bulb, to a comb, to a stump, because plant knows that they need to live. So don't worry about it. So the second lesson is also about alocasias, but about growing alocasias in water. I know that in the last video I've shown you I have some alocasias to be grown in water, and I've done some plant tours with you. So if you don't want to miss that out, you may check this video. So this alocasia pink dragon is in water, and in the last video you have already seen lots of healthy white roots with lots of combs, and even one of them is trying to get out. The reason why I will show you this one as an example because at that time there's not much information about growing alocasia just in water. Maybe people grow them in semi-hydro substrate like pond or lacquer, but I didn't see any more information about just growing alocasias in water. Maybe water is a good medium to propagate their combs, but once again there's no information about growing an established plant in just water. Because I have so many pink dragon combs, so I used this one as my first experiment, and not to my surprise, it actually grew quite well in water. Just as I shown you, lots of white roots. That's why I'm confident to move the rest of my alocasias to water, like my black velvet, like my silver dragon, and also in the future, I know I'm looking down because those alocasias are in soil, the one I just showed you, frydek and my nobilis, they will soon be in water too. So if you don't want to miss that report video, make sure you subscribe to my channel and stay tuned to it. The next lesson is finally not about alocasia, it is about my philodendron golderism. If you don't know, it is actually a crawler, which means that they tend to grow horizontally on the surface. That's why they crawl on the surface, and then it is called a crawler. And about this plant, not the highlight first, but about the price now. Surprise, surprise, I got this plant as a single leaf cutting last September, and then it was about 40 quid. But now, 40 quid, you can actually get a established plant. I think it's about this size as well. So if you've been looking for a philodendron colorosum in the UK, make sure you check out some online shops, and I believe quite a lot of them is actually selling this now in a really affordable price, so don't miss it out. About the lesson of this philodendron colorosum, I would say maybe it's a crawler thing, because as I said, I got this one as a single leaf cutting in last September, and then it just takes so long for this one to actually root and give me a new growth. I believe I put it in perlite to propagate, to let it grow, but it just takes like over half a year for this one to root and finally activate that caterpillar. I believe in March or April finally give me this little leaf, and then the situation actually gets better because I think crawler just need to root a little bit more before it finally gives you the new shoot. Now I have this leaf, and I also have this caterpillar, which is where the new leaf coming from. After all, what I've learned about philodendron colorosum or crawler in general, I believe they're just like a slow grower when it comes to propagation. They will love to take its time to focus on the roots first before it activates any growth point or a caterpillar. So if you have a philodendron colorosum cutting, just be patient about it because it really takes time to focus on the roots before it gives you a new leaf. So talking about how to propagate this philodendron colorosum, you can see this one is actually getting quite rebounded. What I will do is to wait for this caterpillar to grow and then push out another caterpillar. But you can already see this caterpillar is actually out of the pot now. So what I will do in the future, hopefully I can show you that. I will just let this keep crawling out of the pot, and then eventually I'll just find a big box which I will use another semi-hydro substrate, because I know that crawlers prefer growing in a semi-hydro setting instead of full hydroponic. I'll just prepare a big box of perlite, just let the rest of the caterpillar to crawl on that perlite box, if that makes sense to you. Hopefully I can show you the process of it, because I think that would be quite interesting to propagate this one together. This is a lesson about crawler, or about my philodendron colorosum. So here comes the last lesson I've learned in this summer. It is about growing plants in perlite as a semi-hydro substrate. So here is my philodendron DMadawo, and I'm growing it in perlite. You may wonder why I'm not using other semi-hydro substrate like lacquer or pond, but perlite. The only reason is I just like perlite.
Of course not.
Because I got quite a big bag of perlite at home, and I don't want to spend some extra money on other substrate before I finish that perlite. You may have another question. You can see I grow most of my plants in just water. Why not for this DMadawo? Because DMadawo is a crawler, it loves crawling on the surface. You can imagine if you put this Madawo in a box of water like this, what it would do, it would be just floating on the water, and it can't crawl on the surface, and I think that may be not too beneficial to the plant, so I decided to put it in a semi-hydro substrate. I'm not sure is it good or bad to grow a crawler in a perlite box. Firstly, talking about a good thing, of course it is still leafing. I got this as a single leaf cutting. Again, you may see this leaf is a bit meh, but it comes like this, so I can't complain about it. But it has already given me 2 new leaves. You may also see the roots from this side, it has grown a lot. With new leaves, good roots, I believe perlite as a semi-hydro substrate is fine because the plant is still leafing. Also, you can see I actually keep a water reservoir like other semi-hydro substrate. It is good for lazy plant parent like me. I can keep a water reservoir so I don't need to be worried about underwatering, overwatering. And over time, once I can feel the perlite is dried out, I'll just top it up with water like other semi-hydro substrate. So this is the good side of using perlite as a semi-hydro substrate, but nothing is perfect, right? So the first downside of using perlite as a semi-hydro substrate is that once again the algae is forming. Any side that can get in touch with the sunlight, even the surface of it, the algae can build up on it, so it doesn't look quite nice. I know that some of you have suggested that I can just paint over the container or try to find something to hide the container to prevent the algae growing, but I would say that it may not be a solution for me, because why I love growing plants in a clear container is that I can check on the roots constantly. I can check how much water is left in the container. Imagine I put something over it or even paint it over. What I can't see is how much water is left in the container. That may be not a good solution for me, but I'm still learning, of course. So if you have any other solution other than like hide it, cover it with anything, feel free to tell me in the comment. Another problem I've encountered is, of course, once again, like the perlite propagation box video I did in the past, where the water sits actually can make the perlite look a bit grey or brownish. you can see like this is the water level, and of course you got white perlite, algae perlite, and this water reservoir perlite. It just get a bit ugly and it looks a bit dirty, but I don't think it is harmful to the plants. It's just like not looking nice. The next thing is, it is about crawler itself, because you can see I need to use a stick to support the plant before the roots can actually grab to the substrate. So I need a stick to support it until the plant has grown enough to support itself. And lastly, I'm not sure where the growth hormone will go, because it is a crawler like Gorosum. It will push out a caterpillar and then it will crawl on the surface. But I'm not sure, did I put it on the wrong side? Because you can see the new caterpillar is here. So where would it go? I'm not sure will it grow to this surface, because ideally when I'm potting up this, I think it will grow this way, this side, but now the caterpillar is like trapped in here. I'm not sure did I do the right thing. So we shall see about this Dimodouble. So here is all the highlights, all the updates about the plants that are growing in the summer, and I hope that you can learn something from this, especially about my allocations and the crawlers. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you give this a like. If you don't want to miss any content from me, make sure you have subscribed to my channel. I will see you real soon. Goodbye.